Good evening, I'm Joe Collins.
And I'm Will Price, and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting Southeastern Ohio.
Ketanji Brown Jackson has made history as the first black woman ever nominated to be confirmed to the Supreme Court.
The Senate voted 53 to 47 today to confirm Jackson as a justice. Jackson will be replacing retiring Justice Stephen Breyer this summer at the end of the current term. Breyer typically sides with liberals on decisions, so the appointment of Jackson will not change the ideological balance of the court. Vice President Kamala Harris, the first black woman to serve as VP, presided over the vote. Because 3 Republicans voted in favor of Jackson, Harris did not have to cast a tie-breaking vote. During President Biden's campaign, he promised to nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court if the opportunity came up.
Going through 24 hours of questions, they asked the American people their opinion of her. And
many restaurants are still struggling to recover after over 2 years of the pandemic. Now, many lawmakers want to help out. The House passed a restaurant aid bill today, giving them $42 billion in additional relief. The bill would also provide another $13 billion to small businesses hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. The funding would come from previously set aside aid in previous pandemic relief bills that haven't been spent yet. A companion bill has been tangled up in the Senate, and it would not be taken up before the chambers leave for a 2-week recess at the end of this week.
Republican U.S. Representative Bob Gibbs has announced his sudden retirement with early voting already underway in Ohio's primary. The 6-term lawmaker from Amish country declared himself Wednesday as a casualty of, quote, the circus over Ohio's still unresolved congressional map. Gibbs exit the primary race in Northeast Ohio that under the new temporary maps would put him up against Trump-backed Republican Max Miller. Initially, Miller was recruited to defeat Representative Anthony Gonzalez, who supported Trump's impeachment. Gonzalez has since retired. Gibbs blamed the Ohio Supreme Court for drawing out the fight over Ohio's redistricting maps. Trump congratulated Gibbs on a, quote, wonderful and accomplished career. Ohio House and Senate races are not included in early voting for the May 3rd primary because no district maps have been upheld as constitutional. Now the question is when the second primary date will be set and how to pay for the estimated $20 million for the election. Republican Senate President Matt Huffman says it may be possible to use federal COVID relief funding because the pandemic delayed the census data used to create the maps. The Ohio Supreme Court's majority has singled out Huffman and House Speaker Bob Cupp as controlling the redistricting process. A Republican state lawmaker has proposed taking the cost of the legislative race primary out of the Supreme Court's budget. And now over to Ashley with weather.
Thank you, Joe. Right now we have the surface analysis for today, and as you can see, it also includes satellite imagery as well as radar. We have a low pressure system sitting up to our northwest in Wisconsin and Michigan. It is occluding though, which means it is starting to weaken, which is why we're only really seeing light scattered rain showers from this system for us from yesterday, today, and into tomorrow as well. And Athens right now currently is 55 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, winds from the west at 15 miles an hour with gusts up to 23. Humidity is down to 53%. It was up earlier when we were seeing some rain from those scattered shower systems. And then here is this regional map for right now. A lot of the areas are seeing temps in the 50s with 54 in Lancaster, 55 in Athens, 57 all the way down in Huntington. And then tonight we'll have a low of 36 with partly cloudy skies. We'll throw it back on over to the desk with news.
Thank you, Ashley. 2 teenagers in Jackson County, West Virginia have been arrested after a planned school shooting was thwarted. Jackson County Sheriff Ross Mellinger told WSAZ one student who attends Ripley Middle School pulled out a gun on the school bus yesterday. Another student reported it to the driver, who alerted police. No one was harmed, and police say the student acquired the firearm from his brother, who stole the weapon. Both brothers are now in custody, and charges are currently pending. State lawmakers are discussing adding a constitutional amendment to the November ballot to change Ohio's bail system. The resolution has stirred debate over cash bail and how it should be used. The amendment would allow judges to consider public safety when determining cash bail for an accused defendant. The resolution is in response to an Ohio Supreme Court ruling that said public safety as a factor for setting bail was unconstitutional. Opponents to the resolution say the state should instead expand its pretrial detention system. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters says the amendment will empower local judges to make the decision on bail.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear has vetoed a bill that would ban transgender girls and women from participating in girls' sports. Beshear, a Democrat, said yesterday that the bill, quote, most likely violates equal protection rights granted by the U.S. Constitution. The state's legislature will have a chance to override the veto when they return on April 13th next week. Last year, a bill passed the Ohio House with the same provisions, but it stalled in the state Senate. Beshear also vetoed a measure pertaining to teaching critical race theory in schools. Russia is under fire by the Human Rights Council for breaking international law. Plus, jobless claims are the lowest they've been since 1968. Those stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Cannabis.
People believe it can cure any disease that exists, or it's going to cause the downfall of society.
In a country where people are talking about its medical use, someone gets arrested for cannabis every 58 seconds.
For what conditions is it beneficial, and for what conditions is it harmful?
What does the science tell us? Truth through science. We should know the answers.
The Cannabis Question on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
The normal things that you lose when you go to jail is everything.
More than 70 million Americans have an arrest or criminal record.
It screws up finding a job and finding a house.
They say you're rehabilitated. The world don't know that.
What happens after they've served their time?
We've taught ourselves to be afraid of people who've broken the law, and we govern through fear.
I'm always going to be in a state of incarceration, even though I'm free.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, the stories about these treasures are music to our ears.
As I got older and started getting into the Beatles, and finally I watched the Yellow Submarine movie, and I realized, hey, I think that's what's at my grandma's house.
My favorite thing to do is just take one of these.
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from Grounds for Sculpture in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
On the top of the world, a great migration unfolds. Thousands of caribou journey to one special place. This is the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, an Alaskan sanctuary bursting with life. But in an ever-changing world, can these Ice Age creatures survive?
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
The United Nations General Assembly has voted to suspend Russia from the Human Rights Council. The General Assembly needed to vote in favor by 2/3. Today, they voted 93 to 24. In a draft of the resolution, the UNGA stated removal from the Human Rights Council is warranted if a member of the council, quote, commits gross and systemic violations of human rights, end quote. The draft also said the council has, quote, grave concern regarding reports of violations of international humanitarian law that Russia committed in its invasion of Ukraine. The UN may launch a review if it deems it is warranted. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials are asking world leaders for additional fighting power, warning NATO that Russia's attacks against Ukraine could stretch for months to come. Gloria Pazmino is tracking the latest on the conflict, which now appears to be shifting and intensifying.
The United Nations General Assembly has voted to suspend Russia from the Human Rights Council as its invasion of Ukraine appears to be shifting, amid more evidence of atrocities, while NATO leaders hold a critical meeting to decide how to move forward.
The sickening images and accounts coming out of Bucha and other parts of Ukraine have only strengthened our collective resolve and unity.
Meanwhile, in the war zone, Ukrainians are burying their dead, bracing for attack, and digging through the rubble. It's all part of daily life in Ukraine's eastern region. While the Russian military continues its offensive against Ukraine and forces push east, on Thursday in Brussels, Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba issued a plea for help following a meeting of NATO foreign affairs ministers.
Either you help us now, and I'm speaking about days, not weeks, or your help will come too late.
Ukrainian officials say more fighting is underway in the east. While Western nations debate any additional sanctions and pledge more aid to Ukraine, the attacks appear to have no end in sight.
This war may last for weeks, but also months, and possibly also for years. And therefore, we need to prepare for the long haul.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
And in the latest effort by Congress to crack down on Russia, the Senate has passed a bill to suspend normal trade relations with Russia and Belarus. The vote Thursday morning was unanimous. It was followed by another unanimous vote banning energy imports from Russia. The trade relation bill paves the way for higher tariffs on imports from the two countries, a punishment for Russia invading Ukraine and Belarus for helping Russia. The House passed both bills Thursday afternoon. They will head to President Biden's desk for his approval. Wednesday night, the Senate passed a bill to more quickly provide military aid to Ukraine.
You think you're paying too much at the grocery store now? Just wait. The Department of Agriculture says you can expect the price of food to continue skyrocketing. Prices are already up 9% on average for the year, and the USDA says they'll go up 4.5% to 5% more. Restaurant prices are forecast to rise even faster, up to 6.5%. Particularly impacted will be beef and veal, which are expected to increase up to 7%. Avian flu is also causing chicken prices to go up about the same amount. Fresh vegetables are expected to see the smallest change to their current prices. There are far more jobs available than there are workers. That's according to the latest data on unemployment claims. The data shows current jobless claims match a low set back in 1968. On Thursday, the Labor Department says claims fell to 166,000 at the end of last week. That's far fewer than the 200,000 or so economists predicted. Continuing jobless claims, people who have filed for benefits for at least 2 weeks in a row, stood at 1.5 million at the end of March. Forecasters
are predicting more storms than usual. That story is still ahead.
It has been a fair day in Southeast Ohio, but what will this weekend look like? Find out more in my full forecast, but for now, let's take a look at stocks of local interest.
Cannabis.
People believe it can cure any disease that exists, or it's going to cause the downfall of society.
In a country where people are talking about its medical use, someone gets arrested for cannabis every 58 seconds.
For what conditions is it beneficial, and for what conditions is it harmful?
What does the science tell us? Truth through science. We should know the answers.
The Cannabis Question on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
1941, Paris is occupied by German forces, and Hitler thinks he's invincible.
So he invades the Soviet Union.
Stalin didn't hesitate to send millions of people to die. This is the kind of behavior you get with dictators.
They disregard intelligence, expertise, and those are the seeds of their defeat.
Rise of the Nazis, Dictators at War. Premieres Tuesday, April 12th on PBS and the PBS app.
For thousands of years, men and women have sought the grace of God through the practice of silence and isolation.
Join us on a journey into the deserts of Egypt, the islands of Greece, the forests of Romania, Ukraine, and Russia. Visit hermits, monks, and nuns.
Learn about their ceaseless prayers on a pilgrimage to the heart of an ancient spirituality.
Mysteries of the Jesus Prayer.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
The normal things that you lose when you go to jail is everything.
More than 70 million Americans have an arrest or criminal record.
It screws up finding a job and finding a house.
They say you're rehabilitated. The world don't know that.
What happens after they've served their time?
We've taught ourselves to be afraid of people who've broken the law. and we govern through fear.
I'm always going to be in a state of incarceration, even though I'm free.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome back, everyone. We'll take a look at the surface analysis from today. We once again have that low pressure system sitting up to our northwest in Michigan and Wisconsin. It's occluding, so it is weakening, which is why we're not seeing any big, strong systems like the south did a few days earlier. We have a cold front that will be moving through tonight, this evening, and tomorrow, bringing a few scattered light showers throughout that period. Here is the local radar, though. For right now, as you can see, it's just showing those little waves of scattered little rain showers that are coming from our west from this system that are moving through the area. So nothing extreme is expected, as we can see here, just some very small light rain showers. Tonight in Athens, though, we will have a low of 36 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and a few more of those scattered rain showers. And then as we head into tomorrow, sunrise will be at 7 a.m. sharp, so bright in the morning. And tomorrow, we'll have, once again, that system will be bringing some more rain showers. Nothing, as you can see here, it looks like we're going to receive a lot of rain, but it'll just be more of those scattered rain showers. So no flooding is expected, just a few more of those scattered rain showers that we've been seeing all week. And then behind this dry line, there is some snow expected, but we won't see any impact from that until Saturday. And then for tomorrow, this is once again just showing that tomorrow our main concern is just going to be some rain, as it will not get cold enough below freezing to see any snow flurries. In Athens tomorrow, we'll have a high of 52 degrees. A low will head into 34. A low of 34. Rain showers, 80% chance is expected, but those rain showers will just be those light little bursts that we'll get throughout the day. And then as we head into tomorrow night, we'll just once again see some more of that rain. But as we head into Saturday, that will change over to snow, as we will be able to reach temperatures below freezing. But it'll once again just be a bunch of scattered snow showers, so it'll just be a few flurries. No accumulation is expected, just a little bit of a dusting. And then as we look at our 7-day outlook, Friday, like I said, we'll have a chance of rain, which will move into Saturday with the chance of snow flurries as well. We'll have a cool weekend and then a little bit of a break on Sunday with some partly sunny skies. But then as we head in again to next weekend, or into next week, some more systems will move through, bringing us a chance of rain every single day, Monday through Thursday. But luckily with this system, we'll be in that warm sector, which will allow us to warm back up into the 70s. 70 Monday, 67, so a little bit of a cool down Tuesday, but then back up to 76 Wednesday and 71 Thursday, with our main chance of rain showers being Wednesday and Thursday, with 50% Wednesday, 60% Thursday. And our lows throughout this weekend will be around freezing, but that will once again increase as we head into the beginning of next week. And that is all I have. We'll throw it back on over to the desk.
Thank you, Ashley. And we have seen some turbulent weather so far this spring, and get ready for more severe weather this summer. The Tropical Meteorology Project team at Colorado State University released its Atlantic Basin hurricane forecast, and it's not good. Forecasters are predicting 19 named storms this season. That's 5 more than normal, and 9 are expected to become hurricanes. 4 of those predicted hurricanes are expected to reach Category 3 or higher. Scientists say the increased activity is largely due to the natural phenomenon known as La Niña. It creates colder than average ocean temperatures at the equator. That inhibits winds that prevent hurricanes from forming, making them more likely. Forecasters also say advances in satellite technology have enabled them to detect weaker storms they previously wouldn't have known about. That's one reason we see more storms get names these days.
If you have questions about COVID-19 boosters, you're not the only one. Problem is, there are more questions than answers right now, even for the FDA's vaccine advisors. Britt Conway has more.
This virus, unfortunately, is going to be woven into the fabric of our everyday lives.
We might be done with coronavirus, but it's not done with us.
I would not be surprised if we see an uptick in cases. I hope and I believe there's reason that this will not happen, is that we won't get
a very large increase proportionately in hospitalizations because of the background immunity.
Immunity from people who've gotten COVID-19 and from vaccines and boosters. But even if a future with coronavirus is inevitable, exactly what that'll look like isn't clear between the threat of new variants and questions about boosters. Right now, another booster is being recommended for the immunocompromised over 12 years old and people over the age of 50.
The good news is it allows people who most need a booster shot, a second booster, to get one. The bad news is it's confusing for people. Do I need a booster? When should I get it?
Answers people hoped would come from the FDA, but the Vaccine Advisory Committee came away with no solid answers after meeting on Wednesday, partly because there are still questions about future vaccines. Both Pfizer and Moderna are working on variant-specific vaccines, and some researchers are hoping for a more universal vaccine. Until there's specific guidance,
we need people to have a trusted guide, like a primary care doctor, to tell them exactly what they need.
For Health Minute, I'm Britt Conway.
A new study finds it's possible to get COVID again less than 3 months after you last had it. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention identified 10 people who had that happen. All 10 of them were initially infected with the Delta variant and then reinfected with the Omicron. Researchers used genome sequencing to confirm which virus variants sickened each person. The shortest interval between reinfection was just 23 days. Most of the patients had not been vaccinated. According to the CDC, people who get over COVID are typically immune from becoming reinfected for about 6 months, but that immunity appears to not necessarily protect against other variants.
Coming up in sports, Ohio softball is currently on a 5-game win streak. Hear from head coach Kenzie Rourke about their success. Be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
In 1941, Paris is occupied by German forces, and Hitler thinks he's invincible.
So he invades the Soviet Union.
Stalin didn't hesitate to send millions of people to die. This is the kind of behavior you get with dictators.
They disregard intelligence, expertise, and those are the seeds of their defeat.
Rise of the Nazis, Dictators at War, premieres Tuesday, April 12th on PBS and the PBS app.
I knew that this is a way to cure cancer. I knew that that was a way. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let that just lay around.
What if nothing we thought was right? The skepticism was widespread. Jim experienced it probably every day. Part of Jim's success is the fact that he doesn't care that he's not following convention.
I think any great big disruptive change is going to take some single-mindedness.
Jim Allison, Breakthrough.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
Very, very cool.
On Finding Your Roots, Regina King.
Pain is inherited, as well as joy.
And Damon Lindelof.
My identity as an American is ever evolving.
Old Family Wounds.
Do you think trauma like that is passed down?
Felt for generations.
Where we came from is an essential part of solving life's mystery.
I don't know what I expected. This is pretty fantastic.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, the stories about these treasures are music to our ears.
As I got older and started getting into the Beatles, and finally I watched the Yellow Submarine movie, and I realized, hey, I think that's what's at my grandma's house.
My favorite thing to do is just take one of these.
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from Grounds for Sculpture in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Welcome back, I'm Reese Thompson. The Ohio baseball team begins a 4-game homestand against the Toledo Rockets tomorrow. The Bobcats opened their first home series in nearly 3 weeks with a single game tomorrow. They have a doubleheader Saturday and a single game Sunday. Ohio hopes home field advantage can help them stop its recent skid. The team has dropped 4 games in a row in 5 out of the last 6. Assistant coach Tim Brown says to change the results this weekend, the pitching staff needs to lock in.
Continue to get better every week.
It has as little to do with our opponent as much to do with us and our preparation, our trajectory and development and getting better every week. And so, that's really, the goal for every weekend.
First pitch is scheduled for 5 p.m. tomorrow. The Ohio softball team is on the road this weekend for a series with Ball State. The Bobcats are red hot, winning their last 5 games, which including the 3-game midweek sweep of Akron. Ohio needs Allie England to keep swinging like she has during the streak to keep it going. She hit a walk-off 3-run home run to give the Bobcats a 6-3 win in Game 1 against the Zips. Head coach Kenzie Rourke says the winning streak has them excited.
We're just trying to keep momentum, and even if things don't go our way, just trying to remember we got to keep playing our game and fight until the last out. Compete and never say die. We just had a long weekend.
Ohio softball jumped from 7-3 in the MAC standings after its sweep over Akron. The Bobcats want to keep this weekend's opponent in Ball State at bay. The Cardinals sit in 4th with 2 fewer conference wins. You can see this is a big opportunity for Ohio to move up in the standings too. First pitch against Ball State is set for 1 p.m. Sunday. The Columbus Blue Jackets play game number 2 of a home-and-home against the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. It's a big one as longtime Blue Jackets forward Cam Atkinson returns with Philadelphia. Atkinson will be honored during the game for his 10-year career with Columbus. Atkinson is the 2nd leading goal scorer in Blue Jackets history, behind Rick Nash. The Blue Jackets sit 14 points behind the Capitals in the Metropolitan Division for the final playoff spot. The easiest way for Columbus to make it in is to win their final 11 games and for the Capitals to lose 9 of their next 12. The Capitals won last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3. MLB baseball is back. It's opening day across America, and the Cleveland Guardians and Cincinnati Reds are both in action today. The Cleveland Guardians are locked up with the Kansas City Royals. It's a battle of former Cy Young winners as Shane Bieber took the mound for Cleveland against the Royals' Zach Greinke. This is the first game for Jose Ramirez after signing his $125 million contract yesterday. Stephen Kwan also made his major league debut in right field. The current score is 3-1. The Cincinnati Reds are down south to face the defending champion Atlanta Braves. Tyler Mahle is on the mound for the Reds while Max Fried will go for the Braves. First pitch is set for 8:08 p.m.
I don't know about you two, but I'm so excited for baseball to be back. And, for the World Series this year, I think I'm going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays to win. What about you, Reese?
Honestly, me too. I heard they have a really good lineup this year that could bring them some success this season.
What about you?
They got a lot of stars on that lineup. For me, I'll go with the team in the NL, the Dodgers. They added Freddie Freeman.
Ooh.
I'm really excited to see what they're able to do this year.
2 very good picks indeed. And the 2 most important words of baseball? Play ball. Grab your peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Thursday's Major League Baseball's opening day. There are 7 openers kicking off the 162-game season. It's a sigh of relief for fans after a 99-day lockout. MLB and the Players Union reached a deal on the new collective bargaining agreement less than a month ago, bringing an end to the first league work stoppage since the players went on strike during the 1994 season. I'm Joe Collins, and let's take a look at final weather.
Yeah, now to our final weather. Tonight we'll have a low of 36 degrees with partly cloudy skies and a few scattered showers from the low pressure system up north in Michigan and Wisconsin. Tomorrow we'll have more scattered rain showers as that system moves through, and we have that cold front way to our east. A high of 52 is expected tomorrow and an 80% chance of rain showers with a low of 34 that night. And that is all from me, guys.
That's going to do it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe Collins.
And for Ashley Ziegler and Reese Thompson, I'm Will Price. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour that's coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Dean Heating and Cooling. Stay warm this winter with energy-efficient TempStar heating. Dean Heating and Cooling provides HVAC services and installation in the Athens area, featuring TempStar quality you can feel.